I'm going to show you how I took a pile of fresh grass clippings and turned it into liquid gold fertilizer in just 48 hours. And then I'll pour it on some struggling plants so you can see what it actually does in a real garden. Most people bag their grass, drag it to the curb, or let it sit in a slimy pile and stink up the corner of the yard. I look at that same pile and see free nitrogen, free potassium, and free food for my soil, all just waiting to be unlocked. So in this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through how I make grass clipping tea, a fast, simple liquid fertilizer you can brew in a couple of days using stuff you already have. So first, why grass clippings? Well, fresh grass is honestly one of the highest nitrogen greens most of us have easy access to. When you mow, you're basically chopping up millions of tiny green leaves that are absolutely loaded with nutrients. If you leave them on the lawn, that's great for the lawn, of course. But if you collect them and soak them in water, all of that goodness, the nitrogen, a bit of potassium, and small amounts of micronutrients, starts to leach out into the water. Real quick, I want to mention that this is not a magic potion that replaces good soil, compost, or mulch. Think of it more as a quick pick-me-up for your plants. Here's what you'll need. A bucket or container. I'm using a 5-gallon bucket. Fresh grass clippings. The greener, the better. Non-chlorinated water. Rainwater is ideal, but you can also let tap water sit out for about 24 hours. And optional, but highly recommended, a handful of finished compost or a glug of unsulfured molasses to feed the microbes. And before we get going, one really important safety note. Undiluted grass tea can be very strong. If you pour this straight on tender plants, you can absolutely burn them. So later in the video, I'll show you how I dilute it and where I use it, so we're helping plants, not hurting them. Okay, let's brew. Step 1. Fill your bucket about halfway with fresh grass clippings. Don't pack it down like you're stuffing a trash bag. You want the material loose enough that water can move through it and microbes can do their thing. If your grass is very wet, that's fine. If it's been sitting in a wet, smelly pile for a week, I'd skip that and use fresher clippings. Rotting anaerobic sludge is not what we're after. Step 2. Cover the clippings with water. I like to fill the bucket until the water is just above the grass line. You don't want it bone dry at the top, but you also don't need to overflow the bucket. If you're using tap water with chlorine, either let it sit for a day before you add the grass, or just know that the first wave of microbes may take a little hit. It'll still work, just not quite as aggressively. Step 3. Add your microbe starter and food. You can absolutely skip this and still get results, but if you want a lively brew in about 48 hours, this helps a lot. I add a small handful of finished compost. Nothing fancy, just good, earthy-smelling stuff from my compost pile. Those compost microbes are like the starter culture in yogurt or sourdough. They kick the whole process into gear. Then I add a splash, maybe a tablespoon or two, of unsulfured molasses. That gives the microbes a quick sugar source so they can multiply. Give it a good stir. You want to mix the grass, water, compost, and molasses together so everything is evenly wet. Now step 4. Let it steep. Set your bucket somewhere warm, out of direct blazing sun so you're not cooking it, but warm enough that the microbes are active. I keep mine loosely covered, either with a lid set on top but not sealed, or just a piece of cloth. This keeps mosquitoes out but still lets gases escape. And here's the key part. We're going for a 48-hour brew, not a 2-week science experiment. For the first day, every time I walk by, I grab a stick and give it a stir. That adds oxygen and helps keep things from going completely anaerobic and, nasty. At around the 24-hour mark, you'll notice a few things. The color of the water will start shifting from clear to greenish, then to a darker tea color. The smell will change too. At first, it just smells like fresh-cut grass. As it steeps, it'll smell earthy and, a little funky. If it smells absolutely horrible, like sewage, that means it's gone strongly anaerobic. It can still be used on compost piles, but honestly, I wouldn't put that straight around plant roots. By the 48-hour mark, you should have a dark green-brown liquid. That's our liquid gold. And now what I usually do is scoop from the top with a small pitcher and pour through a simple strainer into a second bucket. Don't throw away the spent grass. That goes right into the compost pile or as a mulch under shrubs. It still has value. Now, let's talk dilution. This is where a lot of people get into trouble. Think of this grass tea like very strong coffee. You would not drink espresso straight all day long and expect to feel great. Same for your plants. For most garden use, I like to dilute it somewhere between 1 to 5 and 1 to 10. That's 1 part grass tea to 5 to 10 parts water. For younger seedlings and more sensitive plants, I lean closer to 1 to 10. For established, hungry plants like tomatoes, corn, or big leafy greens, 1 to 5 is usually fine. So if I have a 2-gallon watering can, I'll add about a quart of grass tea and then top the rest off with water. Where do we use it? I focus on 3 main areas. First, heavy feeders: tomatoes, peppers, squash, corn, big kale plants. I pour the diluted tea around the root zone, not on the leaves, so it can soak into the soil. Second, plants that are clearly hungry with pale leaves. Slow growth, but not diseased. This gives them a little nitrogen nudge. Third, compost piles. If you have a dry, lagging compost pile, pouring some of this over the top can help moisten it and feed the microbes. A quick tip: I don't use grass tea on diseased plants. If a plant is fighting a fungal or bacterial disease, the last thing I want to do is add a bunch of random microbes to the leaves. So I avoid foliar sprays with this unless I'm really confident in the cleanliness of my brew. Root zone only is safer. Another big question: how often? I treat this like a supplement, not a daily IV drip. Once every 10 to 14 days during the growing season is more than enough for most gardens. Too much nitrogen can push plants into a lot of leafy growth at the expense of flowers and fruit. As for results, you're not going to pour this on a dead stick and wake up to a tomato jungle. But on plants that are already growing and just a bit hungry, you'll usually see richer green color and stronger growth over the next week or two. Remember, all we're really doing is taking the nutrients in that grass and putting them into a form that's easy for plants and soil life to use. You're not buying a bottle of blue liquid. You're recycling what your lawn is already producing, for free. Alright, let's recap the whole process. Fill a bucket halfway with fresh grass, then cover it with water. If you want, go ahead and add a handful of compost and a splash of molasses. Give it a good stir and let it steep for about 48 hours, stirring whenever you walk by. After that, strain the mixture, then dilute it somewhere between 1 to 5 and 1 to 10. You can apply it around the roots of hungry, established plants, or just toss it onto your compost pile. That's it. Super simple, fast, and almost free. If you enjoyed turning yard waste into something useful, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. I've also got another video where I took frozen winter leaves and turned them into black gold compost in just 7 days. It pairs perfectly with this one. And I'd really love to hear from you in the comments. What other DIY liquid fertilizers or winter composting methods have you tried that actually worked? Share your best experiments and recipes down below. You might just give me the idea for the next video. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.